Hi guys.
Hey.
Sorry, I'm sharing. Lost track of it.
As y'all can see, lovely Crystal is not feeling too hot right now, so she is off camera. And Rosie is busy at work, and Jackie is trying to make it. She got stuck out of all places in New Orleans. So we're going to make the best of this, aren't we, Crystal?
Yeah, we're going to do our best. Sorry, I'm 13th dimension today.
We won't hold that against you.
Just adding more promotion for another show.
All them stinky, nasty boys that you deal with, we won't hold that against you.
Right? It's not my fault.
You just make the 13th dimension look good.
Hey, there you go. I like that.
Hey, Irene. Hey, Wild Bill. Hey, Mort.
Hi, guys. So today we're going to talk about what happens on investigations. Some of the myths that people believe, i.e. every entity is a demon and we all get possessed.
About 30 minutes in, right?
Yeah. Every entity is a demon, you're going to be possessed, and that's how it's going to be. That's every investigation. Any place you go to.
And
Courtney. And then there's other myths. So we're going to go through some of that and tell you the highs and lows and everything in between.
And y'all feel free to share with us what some of the things that you hear all the time, especially when you're on a public investigation. What are, things that people expect that you're like, yeah, no, that's chances of that happening is very rare.
I always tell everybody, because I have people who ask me what I do, and they see shows and they think it's just like the shows. You turn a corner and there's somebody just magically standing there, and you get all kinds of EVPs and all kinds of stuff. And I tell them that's not how it is. You sit in the dark and you talk to yourself for hours on end. That's pretty much how it goes.
Yeah, like I think our first bill when we're doing a public investigations is to ask, who all's watched everything on TV? And of course, everybody's so excited, raise their hands, and you're like, okay, forget everything. Because you do. They think that you walk in, and what they don't realize, yes, it takes so long to get just enough evidence for a 30-minute hour show. They don't realize how long it took to get that evidence.
Right.
A lot of people think that you go in. Yes, you do have those locations you are setting up and everything's going crazy and all that, but that's not the norm.
No. And there's some places you go in and investigate and you have stuff interact with you. Like you can hear audibly different sounds and see sometimes some things move or smell different things. But that's not every case you go on. There's some cases you literally just sit there. And you can even go back afterwards and listen to the EVP recorders and you didn't catch anything. It happens.
But you still sometimes, even when you don't get evidence, sometimes you sit there and something's different. And it's so hard to explain when you're like, I know something's different in this location. And you're like dying to go back. And people are like, why are you wanting to go back? You got nothing. Oh, there's something. It just didn't want to make itself known. And Irene's right. People think that we make bank going to these locations and doing this. I swear I've spent more money on probably 2 investigations than I probably have ever made in my lifetime investigating.
Exactly. It's an expensive hobby and it's not something we get paid to do. It takes all of our money away. I mean, last year alone, when we went to Waverly, you know, for me and Tim to just investigate the building itself was $600 for two of us for 2 nights. That's not our equipment. That's not our travel down there. That's not a hotel stay down there. That's none of that other stuff. And I didn't get a dime back.
Jeremy just messaged me and said he's trying to do some comments, but it's not letting him for some reason. Did you block Jeremy?
If I block Jeremy, Jeremy's going to show up at my house and he's going to kick my hide, and I know better. No, I don't know why he can't. He should be able to comment. He's got unlimited resources here. He can go through like 7 accounts.
Yeah, Jeremy's just probably being a dork. Hey, Beth, I love you, girl.
Yeah, because he can come in as Jeremy. He could come in through 13th Dimension. He could come in. All truth and honesty, Jeremy can come in through the show.
Well, I asked him if he wanted to jump on, but he's at work. So
yeah, lock the door.
Irene said lock the door.
I mean, he can come in straight to the StreamYard because I'm using 13th Dimension Stream. So he could come in that way.
He's probably just making excuses.
Oh, probably. It's Jeremy. You never know.
So, Crystal, what is your biggest, when people come to you and they find out that you're a paranormal investigator, what is some of the biggest questions you're asked?
One of probably the most common is that I'm summoning demons. They think I'm going in and conjuring something to come out. And yeah, we say, you know, hey, is there anybody here? Do you want to talk to us? Don't be afraid of us. This, you know, we're just here to communicate with you, try to help you pass over, or whatever the case may be. But we're not in there doing black magic rituals on people trying to summon something dark. Most of us don't want to see anything dark.
No.
So that's probably the biggest misconception I have, that I'm in there doing spells and sacrifices and crazy stuff like that.
Yeah, I think mine is, people always are like, my biggest thing I get all the time, are you scared a lot? And the biggest one I ever hear is, do you believe in ghosts? I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, I believe in them. Now, I am very skeptical on a lot of evidence. And it's not that, you know, I'm trying to be ugly or anything, but I am a skeptical believer when it comes to evidence. Because I will do everything in my power to, I mean, even sometimes stupidly do stuff trying to recreate something. Because I'm trying my best to make sure no matter what, it is, there's no way around saying what it is.
Yeah, I would rather call something not paranormal and it be paranormal than something that I can debunk and say it's paranormal.
Yes. And I think that's a lot of things people outside the paranormal community don't see. A lot of the investigators understand this, but they don't see the fact that we are sitting there really trying. And that is the worst feeling in the world, when you get that perfect evidence and it's just, you end up finding out what it was. You're like, oh man, but you know you have to do that.
Yep.
And people that are not in the paranormal world don't understand that is a big part of it.
Yeah.
And I mean, and you sit there for hours for that perfect evidence you get.
Oh, I'm going to try not to cough all through this thing, but I'm not guaranteeing anything.
If you do, you do. And y'all, Street Crystal, you hear her little kitten in the background. She got a cute little kitten.
Yeah, Tim surprised me yesterday with a little kitty, so he's floating around here and he's just meowing, trying to explore his new territory. Beth said somebody asked her if she was crazy, and she smiled and said absolutely.
Yeah, she was crazy well before anything dealing with the paranormal. She's just crazy. Oh, there's Jeremy.
So, yeah, see, you can't comment. An anonymous debunker. Yeah, sometimes you have to. You have to have somebody else outside look at it. Had to restart his phone. Probably something to do with the update.
No, it's probably just his phone doesn't like him. I mean, nobody else likes Jeremy. Why should his phone? I mean, he's getting right there on my list, just like Nick.
Jeremy's been on my list for a while. Let's see what else we got going on in the comments. I was told that I was crazy, but really just because I see and hear spirits. Yeah, people who have abilities aren't... People are more accepting of them now than they used to be, but they're still not really accepted.
Yeah, I mean, I've got friends with abilities, and I mean, I sit there sometimes and I think, gosh, I wish I had abilities. And in all honesty, I've never really tried. A friend of mine who is on here, and I'll let her call herself out if she wants to, has tried to help me through some things, as well as some other friends. But then I sit back and I see, I mean, them just at work and things happening to them, and I'm like, would I really want that? It's one of those careful what you wish for moments.
Yeah, it's got advantages and disadvantages to it. Can't say anything. I'll say whatever I want to say about Jeremy whenever I want to say it. He knows it. I'm not going to shy away.
Yeah, like I said, I've wrote Jeremy's number on the bathroom walls for all them girls to call him when he was on hiatus. I'm just not going to tell him which bathroom walls it is.
Beth, you know a thing or two. I did meet you at Waverly. You know a thing or two.
She tries to pretend she doesn't know anything. And that is one lady, guys, if y'all do not know Beth Allen, she tries to be mean. Not really, not mean. What's the word I'm looking for? But she is really one of the sweetest people you'll ever meet. And she is always willing to sit back and help you with anything that you need help with. If you're trying to come into yourself or you're questioning something on an investigation, that woman has called us more on an investigation, telling us to get out of the location. And she won't even be on a live, or we won't be live or anything. She has called us and says, I don't know what's going on right now, but get out of it. And what she wouldn't know is something was going on at that moment. She did that to us in Kansas. She did that to Rebecca.
Wow. Yeah, she showed me. She was the first person to show me the EAD stones.
Oh yeah, I got my EAD stone.
I have mine. I have two of them. I have one and Tim has one.
Yeah, if y'all don't have an EAD stone, y'all need to hit up Pac-Man Paranormal and talk to Denise and get you an EAD stone.
Definitely. I won't go on investigations now without it.
Shoot, what are you talking about? That sucker sits in my purse. It doesn't leave my purse.
I take my Grigri bag with me. Every day I carry it with me. But my EAD stone is, I take it on investigations. Or if I know that I'm going to be in a high stressful situation. Like I don't deal... Yeah, I don't deal crowds. So if I know I'm going to have to be like Black Friday shopping crowds, it goes with me to help me calm down.
So what are some other myths? I mean, like I've been out, and I'm not going to name any names of locations or anything, but I went to help at a public event one time. And I will tell you, it has nothing to do with any of the locations I have been to in a long time. But they, they didn't tell anybody, put your phone on airplane mode or anything like that. So they had their K2 meters and all sitting right in front of them. The cell phones, making it go off and things like that. And they were letting it go, letting them go with the fact it was paranormal. They were actually telling them it was paranormal, and you have to sit back sometimes and go, because it wasn't my investigation. I'm going, it's your cell phone. So I mean, people always need to make sure that I mean, and if you're going to be near equipment, now don't get me wrong. If you're way far away from it, it might be different. But I always keep my phone on airplane mode.
Thank you, Irene. Yeah, I seen that one time too. They were trying to film it with their phone of a K2 going off. And they were not even 2 feet away from the K2. And I'm like, come on now. You know that your phone is setting that off. And they're like, no, it doesn't. Really? Why don't you try and see if it does it? Just wave your phone in front of it. Oh, it did. It set it off. Could there be a connection?
I mean, and one of these just happened to be a location that gets paid to lead in paranormal investigations. And that kind of made me go, okay, that's what it's about.
Yeah, what else are they telling them? Well, thank you, Beth. I have fun with you guys at Waverly. I swear I won't go back unless we're investigating the same team we had. We had so much fun.
Yeah, I'll never forget the first time I met Beth. We had been talking for so long, and she drove through town. And the moment she got out of her vehicle, it was like we had known each other for 20 years. We haven't stopped since, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's hard to bite your tongue. And not a good teams to investigate with. Yep. I've been with teams that I'm like, I won't investigate with these people again. I don't like how they do things. I don't like how everything is paranormal. Nothing you can sit and look at him and truly debunk it and say, look, this is exactly how this happened. And they don't want to hear it. Hi, Adrian.
Hey, girl. You see, and that's why I've been so blessed. Within the past year, I mean, I've come across more people that I call family or really, really good friends than people I haven't. I mean, I probably can, for every 10 that I'm close to, I may have come across one I didn't set well with.
Yeah. There's plenty of good people out there, and I'm not discrediting anybody, but there's some that I've investigated with that I'm like, as an investigator, we can't do this. It's not you personally. I'll sit and talk to you all day long, but investigating with you, I can't do it. And you know, that's just the world. You don't like everybody and you don't get along with everybody.
If you did, you're a hypocrite.
Yep.
So, guys, what are some of the things that y'all hear on investigations that you're going, oh my gosh, and like I said, us as investigators, we kind of know the ins and outs, but more so we deal with so many people who it's their first investigation. Even as on podcasts now, you do get people that come in that have never been on an investigation or have only been on one. What are some of the myths that you see or hear?
I agree with Beth, though. One of the biggest things is your own body.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, our body is naturally wired. If we're in a situation that doesn't feel right, fight or flight, that's a natural response, and there's a reason for that. We did a residential about a month and a half ago. In the house itself, I didn't have any problems being in it. But I think there was something attached to one of the people who lived there. And every time I would go around him, it was that warning going off in my body that there was something about him. Thank you, Tim. So I agree. Your best tool is yourself. All the fancy gadgets and gizmos and everything that we carry and deal with are great, and they help us with that scientific side of things and to present it and prove it to other people. But at the end of the day, it's your body that's going to tell you what you can and can't be around.
And that's kind of where I was going back to. You can go to a location and not have anything happen, I mean, no EVPs, I mean, nothing, but your body just tells you that you want to go back there
Yep.
because you know there is something there. Now, you were talking about residential.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I haven't done, I mean, a lot of residential. Obviously, some of the ones that are the main one that I did, the person really didn't live in the house full time. But I don't touch a lot of residentials because that is a different um issue there because you can mess up some things and make life harder on the homeowners or people living there. And a lot of people don't understand that you
Yeah.
can make it worse if you don't, which, I mean, let's be real. I mean, none of us are experts. But you do it long enough, you kind of start learning a lot of stuff. And
Some of us are more knowledge than others.
right. But as far as, we don't know exactly what goes on the other side. Do they have laws? Do they have this? We don't truly know that. It's just if you truly put your heart into it and truly want to learn, I mean, yeah, I think residential is a great, I mean, but I just don't, as far as me, as of right now, I'd love to work my way towards residential. It's just I'm not there yet. Did that make sense?
Yeah. See, for us, residentials are kind of our bread and butter, and we use the bigger places, um, the public places, kind of for experiments that we can take into the residentials and training for new people that are coming onto the team, or if we have a question about a member, like say you wanted to join us and we hadn't really been around you, we'll take you into a public place, see how you investigate
And
before we're going to take you to a residential.
and that's what, I 100% agree with that. Like actually Beth and I were talking. I didn't even know there was really a paranormal world, quote unquote, up until, you know, what was it? 20, May of 2020. And that's when I kind of realized, gosh, there's so many people out there that do paranormal. And so I'm still fairly, I mean, new at stepping out of my comfort zone. So that's why I'm not quite at residential yet. And I am using all these larger locations to, I guess, fine tune myself.
Right.
And yeah, Tim's question's good. I mean,
Yeah, I like this question. Why do some people have to be in complete darkness? I think it's a personal thing. I know for some people, they like to investigate at night just because things are normally quieter. Your outside environment is normally quieter at night. But some of the best evidence I've caught has been in the middle of the day. It doesn't have to be dark for them to come out. They're people. I mean, think about it. We don't all just run out of our door at 6 a.m. or 6 p.m. We're all coming and going all hours of the day and night, all the time. So why couldn't a spirit?
and then a lot of times, if you have if you go lights out, a lot of times all your other senses will play harder. Your hearing, you'll hear more, you'll feel more. I mean, that's just my experience. Is when you do go lights out for yourself, you can kind of use your other senses and not just rely on one sense.
It's kind of less distracting.
Yeah.
Well, they say if you are born without certain abilities, so say you can't, say you're blind, say you're deaf, say maybe you're missing an arm, if you were born with some kind of a disability, it heightens other things. So if you can't see, you can hear better than a normal person could, is what they say. So you think about it, you take away some of the things that distract us in everyday life, like the light or things walking around or that kind of stuff, and go lights out, you have to hone in more. So you're using your other senses, like Eileen said.
You were talking about fight or flight. It's kind of sometimes it's funny because your instinct is something jumps out or something jumps out and scares you, or startles you or whatever. Your instinct is fight or flight. Then sometimes you have to go, wait a second. That's what I'm here for. Hold on. Let me, as long as you don't just take off full-fledged running, but sometimes you'll have to stop yourself and go, wait, that's what I'm here for. Let me deal with this. So it's not so much your instinct is to just leave because something's bad. It's, someone stands behind a door, sticks their head out and scares you. You're either going to hit them or you're going to jump.
Right.
Unfortunately, sometimes it's both.
Just don't do the iconic dude run.
Yeah. I mean, you don't stop run. I mean, if you actually take off running, then you're probably doing the wrong thing. But if you just kind of turn around like you're fisting to, okay, I'll give you that.
Yeah. And at least with living people, if somebody pops their head around a corner, they're supposed to, normally, there's somebody else in the building. A spirit, you can round a corner and never think anybody's going to be there, and there they are, and you're like, oh, wait a minute, hold on.
And then you also have to think, like while Bill was saying, I mean, I agree with him. I am more scared of the living than I am the deceased, because, and so when you do round that corner and there is a spirit in front of you or something is thrown, I mean, you do have to look to make sure someone didn't sneak into the building to actually cause you harm or anything.
Right.
And I'm thinking whoever's on Things Network, is that Jeremy? Because it says
probably,
okay, I'm back.
I'm guessing it's probably Jeremy. I know he's at work. So
he says.
Yeah.
He's sitting there on his booty.
Beth says she keeps getting kicked out.
Oh, that's me. Sorry. I keep going, oh, Beth, get off.
Yeah. Eileen keeps saying, oh, Beth's back. Bye. Some days I wish I had that power. Not towards Beth, just towards some people in general. Oh, Howard's on. Okay, bye.
See ya. Click. It's awfully quiet without Howard in the background.
Everything normally is quiet without Howard being around. Yeah, it's Jeremy. Irene says she keeps getting kicked out too. Yeah, I would say probably with all the stuff that's happened this week. And by the way, prayers, condolences, love, light, everything to those affected by these tornadoes. A couple nights ago, I'm still seeing some of the pictures from the devastation, and oh my goodness, I can't even imagine.
Yeah, is everyone in the chat? Is everyone's family, loved ones okay?
Because I know we got people all over the place. My daughter called yesterday because she'd seen on the news or Facebook one that it had gone through several states and Indiana was listed, but thankfully we didn't have anything here, just really high winds yesterday.
Because they were, what was it, Friday morning, they were talking on our news, telling us to be prepared for hail and tornadoes and things like that, but it sounds like it actually ended up going north of us.
Yeah.
Because we didn't get much of anything that I'm aware of, unless I slept through it.
Tim didn't even know anything happened, and I was talking to my mom about it yesterday when I went to visit her, and he's like, there were tornado outbreaks? I'm like, dude, come on, get with the program. How do you not know this?
He's Tim. He's friends with Jeremy, so we'll cut him a little slack.
Yeah, enjoy the peace and quiet. That's right.
Yeah, I saw where Irene, I saw that she had posted something about her earthquake. She had just commented there, but I saw something on her Facebook page that she's been getting some earthquakes over there.
Yeah, there's been a lot of weird natural, I guess you would say, phenomenons happening. Lots of earthquakes, lots of tornadoes, lots of flooding, lots of different things. Yeah, Jeremy didn't hear anything until he went to bed Friday night. What he said.
Yeah, Wild Bill. So he didn't. But yeah, I guess we just pay attention better.
Well, I practically live on Facebook, so
No, it's supposed to
I
be
would
that.
agree. I kind of wonder that myself, Wild Bill, if there's not something bigger brewing in the background.
I just think because we're female, we just pay more attention than the men.
Yeah, volcano eruptions too. There's just so much natural things that are occurring, and it just seems. I mean, maybe it is. I'm paying attention more. Maybe that's why I notice it. But it just seems like it's happening more and more and more frequently, and more bizarre. I mean, they're saying that this tornado, the one that went from Arkansas to Kentucky, is probably going to be the longest in history, which blows my mind. Yes, Tim, she sure did.
Just because I don't react doesn't mean I don't pay attention. Hey, Lindy.
Oh, could be. Irene said because we don't treat the earth better. I'd agree with that. Well, I don't know about you, Wild Bill, but I really do not have a whole lot of extra time on my hands. It's just what I do every day revolves around Facebook.
I'm the first one up every morning, and I have stuff done normally by 8 a.m. And then I kind of go and have to work on everybody else's stuff from 8 to whatever. So see, we just stay busy.
Yeah. I used to be the first one up and the last one to bed. Now I'm not. I can't say that anymore. Tim's schedule's changed a little bit, so he's the one who's normally up first, but not always.
So, let me ask everyone this question: how do you determine when it's okay to host a public event at a certain location? Like take non-investigators in certain locations. Does that make sense?
I have places that I will take new people, and I have places I won't. So I had a friend, old friend, reach out to me this past week, and she's never investigated. She wants to try it, and she said, "Do you have a place you would take me to that you would trust that I would be safe?" Well, first of all, we can't guarantee any location is going to be safe. It might be you might go there for 2 years and not have any activity, and all of a sudden the one night they decide to show up is when all hell decides to break loose and something happens. I can't guarantee that. But there's places I feel more comfortable with than others. And I told her I would take her to Crown Point Jail, but I won't take her to a local place here called the Davies House. Because whatever's in the Davies House is not fun, and I'm not going to take a first-time investigator there. I learned my lesson with that with my daughter.
See, I love going to cemeteries and all that. You know, even just kind of, they're just, it sounds weird to non-investigators, but they're so peaceful. But to me, it's, all of our cemeteries around here are so close to main roads. Like, I have this one that's right down the street from me, and it's a very historical one. But you don't realize how close it is to the road till you're trying to get quiet to do an EVP session or whatever. You're like, oh my gosh, you know, people drive by all the time.
See, I don't mind people going to cemeteries. For me personally, though, it bothers me because I know the energy from all the different people, and it gets overwhelming for me. Kind of bugs me out. I can go in and I can do it, and I have done it, but it's not my personal preference.
I have a lot of people who'll tell me, and I don't know. Sometimes I don't feel anything in cemeteries and all, but they're they're like, well, no one died there. Why would just their bodies there? So what's the go with the cemetery? Well, I always come back with, well, let's go to my family cemetery, which I have yet to investigate, and I really want to because it's off the beaten path. And there was a death at the cemetery. My great uncle died at my great grandfather's funeral. And I'm like, I really want to hit that location because there's actually a death at the cemetery.
And just because they didn't die there doesn't mean that their energy can't still be with them in the cemetery too. I mean, stop and think about it. Why would their energy be stuck in a house? Why can't their energy be in different places? I mean, I've heard people say I've seen, John Doe at this location, but then somebody else say, no, I seen John Doe at this location. So why couldn't they be even in a cemetery? I mean, they want to be close to their physical body. That's where they're going to be.
Yep.
Yes, they should have. Agreed, Tim. They should have an introduction process. I always tell people before I take somebody in exactly what they're going to get into. It's not. I mean, we have fun while we do things. If you've never investigated with Scott Wilson, I highly recommend it. Take some Depends with you because you'll laugh the entire time. But most of the time, it's boring. It is a very boring thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, and we're not kidding. And I know Tim personally, and he has not been on a investigation yet. He's very into the paranormal. But yeah, I mean, you sit there and you're like, and there's sometimes you're about to fall asleep and you're like, okay, something needs to happen. But you're on their time. They're going to do things when they want to do things. There is no, I'm going to set my clock. This is going to happen right now. And sometimes they just don't like the people that's in there and they don't want anybody around them. I mean, let's be real.
Yeah, they don't want to be bothered. I mean, think about it. Do you want to talk to people every day of the week? When they want to talk to you? I mean, if somebody walked into your house right now and they're like, hey, what's going on? What's your favorite color? What's your name? How old are you? Sometimes there's people who are just like, no, I don't want to mess with you. Walk away.
And see, when I'm trying to research a location, like I said, an old location I used to do, it was a residential home, but I would sit there and I would find out stuff about the townspeople. And because we still could never get a grasp on the time period. We felt there was a lot more than just one set of people there or spirits there. It was, but there was one set that kind of stayed. So I was trying to figure out a time period for those. So I was like, okay, I'm going to think outside the box. Let me ask if they know this person. Then let me ask if they know this person, like a prominent member of the town. Because if they knew them, it would at least narrow down the time period of when those people would have been alive. And that's another thing a lot of non-investigators don't realize. The time it takes before and after an investigation. Things don't stop right when an investigation ends.
Right.
You've got all the research beforehand. Then you've got all the evidence reviews afterwards. Then you've got more research to go along with your evidence reviews. It's a continuous process. That's why if you can, because there's some you can't, go into a location multiple times is normally the best thing. Because you can get those extra questions that other people might not have asked.
Right.
Definitely, Wild Bill. I saw his last comment, but show respect. I am all about respecting. Because you don't know what those people went through during life or what they're going through.
Yeah, and it's a crap game. You don't know what you're gonna get. I get the theory behind it. I know sometimes it's almost warranted, but I don't like teams who walk in and just start provoking.
No. The only time I've ever gotten truly, and for those that know me, I don't get ugly too much unless you live with me. But for those that truly, it's just I go in and I'm really nice. But there was a time, and if Lindy's still on here, she knows what time I'm talking about. That we were dealing with some things that just they were really really not good people in the living, and they would not let the person that they had killed talk. Well, we got really upset at that point and got really ugly because it was like they were trying to control this person after death, just like they tried to control the person during life.
Yeah. There's been a couple instances where we have provoked a little. I mean, I seen Jeremy. If y'all haven't met Jeremy, normally Jeremy's very quiet, kind of.
Do I?
He's laid back. He's reserved. I mean, especially when he's investigating, he goes in, he does his stuff, but he's very respectful, very, very quiet about it. Not aggressive at all. I would say I don't think Jeremy has an aggressive bone in his body. But one night he just got the switch got flipped while we were at the Davies house, and he went off. And I've never seen him like that. But in that location, you almost have to go in there with the mindset of I'm better than you, or whatever's in there will try to overtake you.
See,
So you can't go in there with kid gloves and play nicey nice because it doesn't play nice back.
See, I have been beneficial to the fact I have not had to deal with that yet. Which, no offense, I mean I'm ready to go to the next step because I want to start being able to help people and all, but I haven't had to deal with too much. And you were talking about Jeremy being relaxed. Let me see if I can get this. That's the reason Jeremy's relaxed, because he's asleep.
Yeah, I've seen him like that on a couple investigations.
Yeah, I just did that.
Oh wow, that's now you're going old school, small reel to reel tape recorder. I don't even think you can buy those anymore. I mean, I'm sure you probably can, like aftermarket, but not straight from Walmart.
And while Bill, actually, a good friend of mine got me using a compass again. I've gone back to using a compass.
We have a compass that we use. Jeremy, our team kind of likes to think outside the box a little bit, and Jeremy uses dog whistles. I'm not going to suggest it. I know what happens with dog whistles. They don't like it. They push you downstairs. But but it's out of the box. It's something different.
Oh, speaking of the dog whistle, so Jeremy had warned me about not doing the dog whistle outdoors, right?
Yep.
And Jeremy and I did it together, and I do think, I mean, it did work, and I think a lot of it actually works if you do multiple whistles, because Jeremy and I did it at the same time, and I've gotten more, and maybe it's just like Jeremy doing it, but I've gotten more, that day was really loud what was going on, and if multiple people have done it with me I cannot talk today, but multiple people have done it afterwards, and it's like you get more evidence than just doing it by yourself, it seems like. But I was going somewhere with that, and then I just read went right out of my head.
Yeah, don't do it outside.
That's what it was. Yeah, go ahead.
Calls other animals that you don't want.
I was at a plantation up here, and I was like, okay, I'm doing it inside. And I was talking to Jeremy. I said, yeah, but what I didn't realize when I did it, because you could hear wolves kind of whatever it was in the distance. When I got in a room, I blew it, and all of a sudden you could hear them getting closer and closer. I'm like, why are they getting closer and closer? I'm inside. The window was busted out.
Oh, so it was still calling them.
Yeah. I did not realize the window was busted out in a certain place until I knew it, but I didn't think it when I was blowing it.
I believe it does, Tim. So we did this experiment. We've done it a few times, but one of them we did it. It was just the 13th Dimension team. It was Jeremy, Scott, Tim, and myself. And we had gone through the house. It's a 2-story house with a basement. We did the top floor. We did the middle floor. We'd gone down the basement, did an EVP session, and we were getting ready to blow the whistle before, and then go back upstairs and see if they moved again. And as we did it, Scott was up the stairs, I was on the stairs, Tim was at the bottom, and Jeremy was still in the basement blowing the whistle. And it felt like somebody had pulled a fire alarm in the middle of like a movie theater or a mall, and everybody ran for the exit, and I almost got pushed down the stairs. I don't think they like it. I don't think the sound, like, I know this is going to sound weird, but it like hurts their ears. I think. That's my theory on it.
I know when Jeremy and I did it at the temple, I mean, almost instantly you heard something. There was a door down we were in the theater area, and there was a door on the first level, and you could hear a pound on it. And Jeremy was on one side of the second floor, sitting down. I was on the other side of the second floor sitting down, but you could overlook it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so I mean, it definitely, of course I do definitely give him credit for telling me about that one.
Yeah, it's definitely different. And yeah, the old school tech with old tech, new tech. Yeah, we have a bunch of different things we use. We use harmonicas. We've tried to integrate music into different investigations.
Actually, I got a triangle. I was going to try a triangle.
That would be interesting.
I mean, it's just, we don't know until we try something. It might not work, and you can't just try it once. You have to try it over and over and over again. But we don't know until we do it.
Right.
I can't tell you the last time I used my EDI Plus.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like all of a sudden, it's like, I don't feel it's as reliable as it used to be. And it's only 2 years old, maybe. And it's just, I just don't use it that much. Now I will use my Boo Bear, which stays with me everywhere. But all that stuff that is just to validate the other stuff. It's more for documentation than for actual evidence. I mean, you can't, when I'm on the EVP, you can't hear my compass moving. You can hear me talking about it, but you can't hear my compass moving.
Right. I think, you just have to stick with your basics too. Yeah, like you said, everything else is nice for the scientific and evidence, but stick to your basics, your camera, your flashlight, your EVP recorder, and you can go out and ghost hunt. You don't need that $600 piece of equipment. I mean, when Jeremy takes a carload, literally a whole carload, and that's just the equipment he brings. That's not the equipment that all of us bring as well. And there's times that the bag doesn't even get unzipped because we just want the basic stuff. Give me my EVP recorder. Give me maybe a spirit box if we want to try that. And my flashlight, and I'm good. I don't need all that other stuff all the time. Yeah, we've taken, you said, spirit children love teddy bears and candy. We frequent a old prison here in Indiana, and we take playing cards, and we'll go up and we'll start playing poker games, which, it's entertaining for us too, because then we're actually doing something. But we've caught an EVPs doing that.
Offering cigarettes.
Oh, yeah.
Especially in a jail, offering cigarettes.
Yep.
That normally hits something. But yeah, that's why one of my best friends, he is Parapals. He actually made me Boozy is a white stuffed teddy bear with the REM pod in it and all that. He makes a lot of stuffed animals. He does custom builds too, but so that's the reason I really liked Boozy was because I could use it as a trigger object for children or whatever, but I could also use it as something you could hear to get evidence. And Crystal,
Yep.
this is really hard because I can't see your face. I just want to say that. I feel like I'm talking to myself here.
You're not. You should be. You should be used to it. Didn't we just say what did we do? We talked to ourselves in the dark.
But I'm
dark. I guess you need to turn your lights out and just pretend we're ghosts investigating and.
I'll just talk to my bed.
Let's see. Tim says, if you piss off a spirit, do you allow them to calm down, referring to being pushed down the stairs, like was described? Yeah, we just kind of let the house, if I remember right, that time we actually left the house, like went outside for about 20 minutes, just let things kind of settle before we started investigating again.
And you've got to settle too. I mean, breaks are very important during an investigation because you got to clear your mind in between things. Even if it's just a break walking from one location to the other, if it's a good walk. But sometimes you have to step outside and just take a breath of fresh air.
Yep.
And that's not just for them, that's for you.
Yep. Yeah, he's going to need like 6 planes to get all of his equipment over there.
I'm still trying to find a good investor for a paranormal plane that a group of paranormal investigators can all share and go without costing us arm and leg. I need to
get us a nice G6.
Now, speaking of stuff like that, what is your I mean, because a lot of times we're staying up till 4 or 5 in the morning, and you can't sleep when you get off an investigation. Your adrenaline rush. Now, sometimes you go home, you're like, I'm dead. But you have that adrenaline rush and things like that. What's your food that you take? Your food and your drinks?
I try to take, I don't drink water. I'm just going to be honest with everybody. Normally I have Mountain Dews with me, but I also try to take body armor for more hydration than just a pop. And normally I just have like snacky stuff. I almost always have to have like beef jerky, something with some bit of protein in it. I know that's not a great source of protein and it's not exactly healthy, but that's what I take. And I take like chips and just snacky stuff. But we normally try to eat a meal either before or during the investigation. A lot of times we end up ordering a pizza. Everybody just chips in and we order 3 or 4 pizzas, and that's what we kind of eat off of the whole night. What do you do?
I'm actually known for the snack queen. Amazon and I are really good friends when it comes to my paranormal snacks. But I'll just buy boxes of individual like Cheez-Its, Pringles, things like that. But it's I'll start off the day with the Starbucks, but I have normally I'll have a case of Monsters to go with me so I never run out.
See, I can't drink energy drinks. They make my heart flutter, and then I want to pass out. So I can't do energy drinks. So I've got to find some other way. So normally it's a Mountain Dew.
And see, my biggest problem is I'm so stuck in my ways of waking up between 5:30, 6 o'clock every morning. And so no matter what day of the week it is, I do that. So I can investigate till 4 in the morning, and I'm normally back up between 6 and 7. My best friend laughs because I'll be at her house sometimes and she'll be asleep, and I'm like, there's nothing to do. So I'll go in there and I'll do her dishes or something from what we messed up the night before. I'm like, it's a historical home, so you have to be careful where you walk because there's hardwood floors. And I'm like, and I try to go outside, smoke a cigarette. But I mean, it doesn't matter what time I go to bed. I have to be up between 6:30 and, or 5:30 and 6 every morning.
Do you get para hangovers?
Mm-hmm. Yes. And the longer the investigation, the longer the hangover.
Yep.
Like when we were coming back, I think we hit the road to go to Kansas at 11 p.m. I think we finally got to Kansas about 1 p.m.
Mhm.
The next day. And then, of course, we couldn't get our room until roughly around 5. So, and then, of course, that night, everybody wanted to go hang out. So we went and did karaoke. I think we finally got to back to the hotel room to sleep about 2 or 3 in the morning. And of course, I couldn't sleep the night before because I was so excited about going to meet everyone. And yes, that was including Jeremy. I was excited to meet too. But then we did that event for 2 days, and we woke up the next morning, had to hit the road early. But the whole trip home, though, I was like, okay, I'm gonna be cashed out with this paranormal hangover. I'm gonna be cashed out. The whole trip home, I could not go back to sleep because me and my friends were all sitting there talking because we had so much fun with everyone. So
Right.
the paranormal hangover didn't happen until the next day, which was a work day, which was not good.
Irene says that their energy drinks are loaded with caffeine, but only has vitamin B1, and it's smaller.
Oh no, I gotta have the bigger the better. Sometimes I get the big old monsters and the bad thing about those monsters, the big ones, you have to be careful what you're drinking or what you're eating on an investigation. Because well, besides for the obvious reasons, once these men cause us to have to run out of the room because of when you pop open that can, it has this loud pop, and everyone's listening to their recorders and all, they hear it in their ears, that big loud pop.
Yep.
So you have to be careful with you you have to think that far into it. It's like, how crunchy is this going to be if I try to eat it once while trying to do an EVP?
Well, it's like wearing shoes. You don't want to go in there with high heels on. I mean, not just the fact that you're going to be walking all night, and some locations you're up and down stairs and you're all over the place, but that clickety clack of your shoe.
Or those,
you don't want something loud.
Or the squeaky tennis shoes.
Yep.
I mean, if you're not an investigator, there's a lot to think about. Not just the investigation. You have to think about, now if you're by yourself, it's a little different, which I don't recommend doing, but if you're with other people, you really have to sit down and think about every detail of what you're taking with you, even down to what you're wearing.
Yep. Don't wear those windbreaker pants that swish every time you walk.
Hammer time.
Yep. They can get big monsters there in Japan. See, that's what Tim drinks, and Scott's got his little energy drinks he takes. He normally drinks Venoms. I can't do the energy drinks. They make me sick, so I have to find something else.
Well, I did not feel like people really were going to get into this subject as much. I figure people are like, oh, we're investigators, we're good with this.
Yeah, we know this basic stuff. What are you talking about?
I just want to share some things that, because we do have some people on here who have never been on an investigation before.
Yeah. Same way, we were talking about clothing, coats. Coats are another thing. They swish. If you're in a cold place, try to bundle up the hoodies. They don't make as much noise.
Mm-hmm. Earrings. Don't wear those dangly earrings.
Yeah.
I wear them to them sometimes, but I have to take them out.
Well, we've done our hour.
We have. I see that now. I just looked up.
That went by quick. Well, hopefully next week. I think we're doing a show next week. I don't know with the holidays. We haven't really decided. Okay, Irene.
That's it. Yeah.
I want to tour the world. I'm telling you. She said come over to Japan and she'll treat me to one of the ampule drinks. It tastes like apple juice. I like apple juice, so we're good. Yeah, we haven't really discussed what we're doing through the holidays.
Yeah.
So hopefully, if we're back on next week, we will all four be here. But we'll see. Life has been throwing us some curveballs lately.
If we can get Crystal Crystal feeling better, Rosie out of drill, Jackie doesn't go hang out in New Orleans like the rest of us want to do.
Yeah.
For me, not killing my laptop charger. That's what happened last week. My laptop charger literally broke in half. And I was like, yeah, this isn't going to work.
Well, I had a kitty die last week, and then my daughter moved 16 hours away. So, yeah, it was a stressful day. Nobody wants to see a bawling baby on a camera.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, we're going to go ahead and hop off. Hope everybody has a wonderful rest of your Sunday. Blessed week. Stay safe. Stay healthy.
Merry Christmas. If we don't, see you next week.
If we don't cross paths again before then. All right, guys. We're out of here. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.